Hi everyone, this is Killshot from 99 Gaming. This is The Walking Dead Season 10, Episode number 2. This is going to be our bold prediction video. We're doing this on Thursday. Bold Prediction Thursday, or as we like to call it, it is the eve of PDL, whichever one you want to go with. Got some exciting news for all of you guys today. Hopefully I'm coming through loud and clear. You guys, can you guys hear me out there? We should be good to go. A lot of the clerical stuff and the moving stuff and everything is behind me. I am ready to go full steam ahead with each and every one. So before we get too far into this stream, do want to give a special shout out. You can see them up there. That is our Patreon army. We're working on some things to give some special acknowledgement to our PDL sponsors. You're going to find out a little bit more about that very soon. We already mentioned it in a couple videos, but hopefully you guys are having a good week. Tonight we're going to do our bold predictions. This episode's going to be a little bit more interesting. If you guys don't know the schedule, the way it's going to go down is we're going to do our Freestyle Friday tomorrow night with some PDL mixed into it. Then afterwards, I am going to watch the show 48 hours in advance. And then Saturday morning, we're going to do our Saturday morning spoilers. And of course, we will have our reaction video Sunday night as well. So hopefully you guys are having a good week. The Rolex said it best, right? Just a couple minutes ago. The best group of fans that are out there. Appreciate you guys showing up each and every night. So, let's jump into a little bit of, and you guys got to forgive me, I'm on Kickstart. I have not had a Kickstart. It's probably in 2 years since I was doing early morning gaming videos, and I decided tonight with all the things going on, it's been an exhausting week, so yes, I'm having some energizing orange citrus. Not quite as caffeinated as coffee with Killshot, but yeah, I'm doing it, man. So let's get this started. What are you guys most excited about for this week's episode? It's not going to be a filler episode, but it is going to have a little bit of backstory. And I think it's going to have a whole lot of whispers and very little core characters that are out there. So Daryl Stoltz, Alpha and Beta backstory and the introduction of Gamma. Absolutely. That's what's going to go down. Yeah, Kel, the difference then, though, it was Kickstart hydrating boost. This is like the real stuff. This is not the hydrating stuff. We're going to talk about Gamma in just a couple minutes, Jan Step. How Alpha and Beta met. Beta backstory. Yeah, we're going to find out if he was really a country singer. Country singer day, janitor by night. I don't know. I mean, that... Did you guys get a Halloween Michael Myers vibe when you see Beta kind of in the hallway in that janitor closet or whatever he's doing? Didn't that kind of, like the first Halloween, you just could kind of hear that music playing in the background, like a hospital type of thing? That's what I felt like when I saw it. They're certainly trying to spruce up the horror element to it. So One of the subplots, I think, this week is going to be the timing of that satellite. Valar in the house. What's up, Valar? Hello, 99 Army. Kill, Steph, Emmy, Kel, Sweet Tommy, sponsors, patrons, channel members, PDL players, and PDL sponsors. Valar is hooking it up. And all super chatters. We got so many different categories right now, Valar. I'm having a hard time keeping up with your super chat. Valar is like like almost each one of those things is up there. So thank you so much, Valar. Appreciate that. Every time I think about that satellite falling, I think of that song by Guster. You're my satellite. You're riding with me tonight. I don't know if you guys know that song. It's a good song. But one of the themes is that we're going to get a little bit of the backstory, and then the whisper supposedly, these are not spoilers, these are just some news that's out there with a dash of speculation. That's why we do our bold predictions. I'm not going off anything from Spoiling Dead's fan page, so if you guys got knowledge of that, I don't. I'll watch it tomorrow night, and I'll have like the full spoiler because I'll be seeing it early. So when we talk Saturday, it is going to be... Don't tune in Saturday if you don't want a spoiler, because I'm going to talk about everything in the episode. But the way I see it going down this week is I see some death happening. And I got a bold death prediction for you guys if you want it. And I'm going to give a kills coin to the first person that can read my mind if you can tell me who I think is going to die this week. I feel pretty confident about this death prediction. Think we're going to see it. Gamma will not die this week. Not Gamma, not Father G. I'm going to give you guys about 5 more seconds. Not Ezekiel. 4, 3, 2. All right, nobody got it. All right, I'm cutting it off right here. No. I don't think it's going to be, I don't even think we're going to see the core group this week. Not the Jerrys, not the Sadiqs, none of those. My major deaths this week, and this kind of, came to me like a light bulb, because what I read was the timeline is going to be very similar. And if you guys remember, we did see death last week, and we've got Alpha. How many people saw the trailer? The 40-second clip of Alpha talking with Beta, and then they're talking about the enemy. I know I asked you guys that the other night, but I want this to kind of sink in. At the very end, you had Alpha in the darkness. Did you guys see that? They were sharpening the knives, and then Alpha was kind of holding a knife, and she was standing in the dark. How many people remember that? Like the last 5 seconds. Okay. If you guys saw that, to me that says that we're going to see the death of those campers that we saw last week. That's going to be my bold prediction. And I don't want, oh, okay, well, that makes sense. Well, it doesn't really make sense because they're building it up and we know something bad happened to them. So I think this week is going to be the skinning of those campers. Yes, the naked ones. Because it all ties in. We get a little bit of the backstory. We got the satellite, so we know what the time frame is. It's around the same time frame. And then we see them at night. People are usually camping at night, right? Campfire, that area. So I got a feeling that it's a way to ramp it up, to show us some death, to show us some initiation. And I'm going to take it even a step further. Alpha is going to kind of exact her will, but we may get to see some Gamma participation. Maybe that'll be a test for Gamma this week to ensure that she's not a traitor. Beta seems a little worried that I'm trying to, I don't want to kind of ad-lib what he was saying, but it seemed he's concerned that they saw her, the way she talked or her livelihood or what she experienced. And I think he's afraid that the group is going to want that they're going to want out. But Alpha is going to really want to prove that Gamma is in. So usually when you have that, you got to have some sort of initiation. So if we see Gamma doing some of the skinning, then we know she's on board. Yeah, see, Najee, that's kind of what I was thinking, is that maybe Gamma has to get her own mask. I also think that Alpha will need to look. There's several different ways you can lead. Alpha can certainly put her foot down and say, "This is the way we're going to do it." Do you question me? Your people killed our people. There will be conflict. She could certainly put her foot down and say, this is the way we're going to do it, but that doesn't work all the time. She could certainly decapitate somebody. That doesn't work all the time. Every once in a while, you got to prove. So if Beta does, Alpha's going to ask Beta first, do you question me? And he's going to say, no, never. But I also think Alpha's going to give a little bit more and say, see, she's cool. So she's going to have Gamma do something to prove it to Beta so he doesn't. I think Alpha knows that Beta will be loyal to a fault, but he's always going to check just to be sure. Well, she can't always have him looking over everybody's shoulder. It's going to distract him from what he needs to do. If Beta's too busy looking at their own people, he's going to miss something else. Now, I think Gamma also is a gateway to another major event. So if you guys, I'm trying to give away Kills coins for PDL. So if you guys can tell me what the Gamma introduction will do for the Whisperers. Let's see if Ben's going to get it. Ben reads my mind and then never shows up on Friday to use his Kills coin. Some people think that it is the jealousy, it is the division, but I think it's going to do something. There we go. There we go. Delaware Sasquatch. First person to get it. Here's what I think. I think the Gamma introduction shows that the Whispers are actively recruiting and they can bring people in and they can convert people and they can trust people. So if they can, exactly, Roxanne, and Delaware was just a little bit quicker. But I think once they get Gamma in there, if they don't know too much about Negan, Negan has been imprisoned. They might not know the Negan backstory. So if he can pull that, that Bill Clay from Die Hard, that kind of whiny, panicky, I was trapped. I was just up here getting some air and calm down, and really he's got an ulterior motive. Then Negan could, and Amy, I don't know it's a sneak in. I don't know that he needs to sneak in as opposed to just coming in and just, you know what? I don't want to hang out with those lunatics anymore. I can do your way of life. And it'll kind of desensitize them and maybe let their guard down and bring in the wrong people. And, the third thing we didn't really mention with that is it also makes it believable for the audience. If you see Negan strolling in, and it's like, come on, they ain't just going to let Negan in there. But then you see that they've brought Gamma on board, and then Gamma, they kind of transitioned her. I think it's an easier transition for the audience. Exactly. So we haven't seen how they recruit. And I think, I don't know, Rolex, if there's a clear-cut recruitment style. But I do think it's like that analogy I used the other day. It's kind of like, making beef jerky. You gotta let it age. So you got this group, kind of getting there. Then let's migrate. Let's go take care of this group here. Let's scare a few people. It's like Halloween every day with the Whispers. They almost need like a terror meter. Let's just see how scared they are. All right, ramp it up a little bit more. Let's kill a few more people. They're about to break. All right, while they're breaking, let's go over here. And they're just gradually building up their ranks, building up their numbers. But it's almost like, I guess, opposites with the way that Alexandria, not just the way they conduct their business, but the way their communities grow and fall. They're almost like opposites. Will the Bill says, I don't see Negan going to the Whispers for any reason. Well, Will, I think one big reason why he could is the comic arc. And we know they don't always follow the comics, and they've gotten away from that, but sometimes they do. And one could argue that that's why The Walking Dead is typically better than the other shows, because the comics were so successful telling that story, and it sort of comes to life. And with Fear, it's a little bit more of a gamble. With the new show, it's a little bit more of a gamble. And I've always said I think the comics are more of a treasure map, not really a road map. They're going to get you to the area, but they might not get you that straight line exactly there. Well, the other reason I sense a side bet coming on with Will the Bill there of whether or not Negan will be involved with the Whisperers. That was a pretty bold statement by Will the Bill. Like, I don't see Negan going to the Whisperers for any reason. You have to think about that one a little bit. All right, we got Ben Stevenson. If it happens, it will be poetic justice. Negan coming in, becoming one of them, and getting Alpha after she infiltrated the fair the way she did. That would absolutely been great. I love the irony. he's trying to get a cash bet going, huh? We'll set something up, Will. We certainly. I don't know if I've got the energy to do a bunch of rap songs, because I put a lot of time in that June death that never happened. That was painful. Haven't even been to Atlanta yet. Well, to pay off my bet, but you guys know that's going to happen soon. I do want to transition one thing. It's starting. So there was an article that popped up on my newsfeed today by Daily Express. I almost never read anything by Daily Express. They're worse than Forbes, but it did pop up and was probably one of the worst clickbait articles I've ever seen. And it was titled, something, will Michonne be killed by Alpha? So it was about 2 paragraphs, had very little to do with Michonne being killed by Alpha. It had like a vague reference to Greg Nicotero and talked about how the group's in trouble and a couple other things. And I'm thinking, like, how in the hell did you get that out of that? It was like one of the most misleading things, but it popped up because, people are going to start talking about it. Exactly, Rolex. My sentiment exactly. Rolex is like, we got all these people here and only 28 likes. And actually, when Rolex typed it, one person changed their mind. You're like, why did I like this? I meant to dislike it. Okay? Hey, you guys know what? Like the video or dislike it. Just choose a side. Pick a team, everybody. If you don't like what we do, give it a thumbs down. If you like what we do, give it a thumbs up. But no middle ground. It's okay. We can live with the dislikes if that's what makes you happy. All right. So the person from Daily Express is probably the one that just gave us a thumbs down. So it went into a little bit of Rick's story, but I'm not saying it can't happen. Michonne could die. It would be shocking. I don't expect it to happen. But based on the data that they cited in the news, if you call it a news article, but based on the data, there was nothing that could lead you to that headline. It should have said, I think Michonne could die, and this is why I think she could die. Like, I could say that in a stream. I could say, you know what? I don't think she wants to come back in a movie. I don't think there's going to be a good exit for her, and this is what I feel. But there was no data in there whatsoever that pointed to that. No spoilers, no news, nothing. So I didn't like that. Right beside it was another article about ratings. How do you guys feel about The Walking Dead ratings? I'm not going to make this a rant. How many people watch The Walking Dead or don't watch The Walking Dead based on how many other people watch The Walking Dead? Was that confusing? Or there you go. That's what I wanted to see, movie star. I love the show regardless of the numbers. Kel says, I watch it because I want to watch. I watch because I love it. See, that's all that matters. Because here's what the ratings mean. The ratings mean how much people are going to pay for a commercial spot. That's what the ratings mean. If the ratings are down, then Truvada for prep is not good. They're not going to pay prime dollar. Or Peyton Manning and Brad Paisley, the same commercial that they show 4 times during every Walking Dead. Like, I got a brand new playbook. This is a long-term play for retirement. This is something else. And this, hold on, I got it. Flea Flicker. Yeah, you've been reading my playbook. I've seen that commercial at least 3 times every Sunday for about 10 straight Sundays. So my point is, when ratings are down, the actors ultimately are going to not make as much money, and the advertisers are not going to pay as much money. And exactly. That's the follow-up point, Will Sykes, is the AMC Premiere app, a lot more people are watching it a couple days early. Delaware Sasquatch. The reason I watch is because even if I know spoilers, I still catch myself saying, oh shit, when I watch. I was discussing, that's a great point. And even when we were researching the spoilers, I'll still watch on Friday and I'll watch again on Sunday because I want to be in the moment. Jim09 says, interesting to me that as fans, the higher the death count on an episode, the higher the rating. Thoughts? Jim, I would say mostly, even if it's a death they don't like, yeah, I mean, big events are going to draw more people. If you have a favorite sports team, you're more likely to go watch them play their rival or someone that's good rather than, if anybody's playing Washington, you may not go to watch that game. So I think when big events happen, word gets out a little bit. Or, Jim, here's the other thing. There's selective advertising or trailers where they give you a little bit better trailer. Now, I will say, I think the trailer this week it's a little weak, in my opinion. Because the trailer feels like a filler. Now, that's for me personally. Me personally, I would rather see bits and pieces of our characters. Will the Bill says, let's not bring up sports. Touchy subject right now. I am not even going to bring up certain baseball teams, except to say, hopefully you guys saw the Nats. The Washington Nationals are so much better without Bryce Harper. Tyler Bradley, we don't need death, we need depth. Let's break that down. Tyler, is it fair to say I agree with you and disagree with you at the same time? I think that The Walking Dead accomplishes depth through death. And here's what I mean by that. They don't randomly kill off people. There's usually a strategy to the way they kill people off. But they also have people ready to kind of fill in. Amy Ferreira says, nah, we need some death too. I would probably lean, Tyler, a little bit more toward Amy's comment. I think there's a balance of the two. Fear has a lot of depth. You may not agree with that because the show they didn't hit it out of the park. One might say Fear the Walking Dead had too much depth. Alicia's painting on trees, and there's this wedding, and there's this whole, from a psychology standpoint, it really wasn't that bad. From a entertainment standpoint, it didn't do it. And I think the fear of death on the show is what makes a lot of people tune into The Walking Dead. I'm gonna follow up with that point. Rolex says, Beta, stop talking to Alpha, do something memorable. Well, Rolex, if he doesn't do something memorable, they're going to weaken the best villain opportunity that they had. Will the Bill. All the good guys died on the inside. Give me some examples, Will, as a follow-up. So, do you guys remember in episode number 9 of Fear the Walking Dead, episode number 10, what did we start saying right after episode number 10? What needed to happen on Fear? Because I'm going to bring some closure to this point. Julia remembers. They won't kill anyone. We need a villain. We need death. We need somebody to die. It's getting boring. They don't ever kill anybody on the show. Tyler Bradley. Makes sense to me. I guess I meant we don't need death just for the sake of death. That I agree with, 100%. You don't kill just for the sake of killing, but you have to strike that comfortable balance where Fear the Walking Dead is afraid to kill anybody. The Walking Dead is not. And we're tuning in this week with the expectation that there's going to be an Ezekiel, or there's going to be a Rosita, or there's going to be some major death. Will the Bill. In Fear, they don't die. They all just kind of died on the inside, like they just gave up and were sad. Okay, that makes sense. So, look, I mean, I thought Skidmark was the only character on Fear the Walking Dead that had 9 lives. We got Grace, who has cancer. Nope, you don't have cancer. You're having a baby. Wait, Fear the Walking Dead is the only show, probably in the history of shows, to turn a malignant tumor into a baby. If that is not outlandish, I don't know what is. Then you've got number 2. You've got Alicia drinking radioactive walker blood. Nope, doesn't kill her. Anybody else? They're going to be bubbling. They're going to be a walker in 5 minutes. Nope, Alicia's good now. And then you got Morgan shot only to probably be picked up and be a transition between Fear and a movie. So you got 3 people that all could have died. None. Exactly. We kill Logan. Which I think, Ben Stevenson, that kind of makes Tyler Bradley's point, right? We don't need death for the sake of death, and that's exactly what Fear did. Fear gave us death for the sake of death, which was Logan. Let's just kill Logan. Let's kill Jimbo the Beerbo. But on Walking Dead, they cultivate the characters. It's kind of like Negan, right? He's picking the strawberries. The Walking Dead, they could have killed Magna last season. They could have killed Yumiko last season. They could have killed Luke, could have killed Connie, could have killed Kelly. No. Could have killed Cindy. Nope. Didn't have to. What they do so well is they get you attached. How many people kind of like Luke? I mean, we've seen Luke with the violin. Now we see him doing a little romancing. Luke was part of the Symphony of Awesome. Alpha could have killed Luke in front of the gate. But they didn't, because they had other people. They killed Jesus. So now we've had like a season to get a little bit more attached to Luke. So now if they kill Luke, it's going to be a little bit more impactful. So Tyler, I think it's a great point. Is the depth is the way they kill people on The Walking Dead. And let's think about it. Simon. I did not like the Simon death. In fact, I went on record almost right away and said they wasted a good villain in the Walking Dead universe. If the universe is so big, I would have liked to seen Simon exiled and show up somewhere else and just wreak some havoc on some other people. But I will say this. It wasn't out of nowhere. Simon's death was set up by what he did to Oceanside. You had the scene with Negan and Simon where Negan basically told him, like, are we going to backslide again, Simon? Negan has always kept him in check. And then Simon got power hungry. He was trying to broker a deal with Dwight to overthrow Negan. And then he goes in to the junkyard and just executes everybody. And people are a resource. So we know that through 3 or 4 different episodes, they set up Negan killing Simon. Even though I still don't agree with it, there's some depth to it. And D-Train, that's exactly. If they would have crossed Stephen Ogg over to Fear, you guys tell me right now. Who's a better villain, Simon or Jenny? This is gonna be hands down. And you know what? Here's how easy it would have been to cross Simon over. All you got to do is just write in a little bit of that betrayal from Dwight. Let Dwight go on the road, exile Simon, and have Simon tracking Dwight down while Dwight is tracking down Sherry. You could have crossed both of them over. All right, so we're going to, we do know this week, we got the Gamma introduction. So Amy Ferreira says, Jesus' death was set up well. He was so bored sitting behind the gates. He wanted to be out there fighting. Controversial. Well, here's what's controversial. Amy, I think it's a good point. Aaron is tired of being the nice guy. Is Aaron going to hold Maggie accountable for the death of Jesus and Tara? Give me your thoughts on that. People might be saying, hey, Maggie's going to roll back in, all is well with the hilltop. Is Aaron going to be okay with Maggie coming back in? Just want to get a few thoughts in this video. No, Lisa. I'm not saying Tara's death is Aaron's fault. I'm saying, will Aaron have resentment to Maggie for leaving Hilltop in Tara and Jesus' hands? Tyler thinks there'll be a beef. Look, let's look at leadership qualities here. Alexandria has a council. You got Aaron, you got Michonne. That's strong. The kingdom had Carol and Ezekiel. I'm sorry, Tara fans, and I really started liking Tara to a degree, but I did not feel the hilltop was properly prepared under Tara and Jesus' leadership. Will the Bill, I hope Maggie slips on a banana peel and pikes herself. Oh, man. We were hoping last season Maggie would get the pike. Devin, I agree. Devin says Maggie can't come back and just take over Hilltop. So, who is currently running the Hilltop? Appears to be Ezekiel at the moment. Now, they're down by the beach. But if it is Ezekiel, then an Ezekiel death would certainly open up the door for Maggie to come back. Tyler says, shame on you both. Hashtag Team Maggie. Tyler, we do have a few Maggie fans. And I have been known to rant about her exit. There's there's very little weak writing on The Walking Dead, but that was tough. That was tough the way they had to have her exit. I would have liked if they at least filmed an exit episode, not just implied it, but that one show would have cost them a lot of money, I think. So Daryl wants to know, will we see Georgie and the twins this season? I think so. Well, Daryl, let me take that back. I got to think about that a little bit more. I don't know if she's just going to drive up on a bus and drop Maggie. I mean, it's been a while. She's been gone for a while. I'm gonna reserve judgment on the Maggie return right now. I've got this way that I need to see it come back. Similarly to the Negan redemption. On the Negan redemption tour, it was about change and it was about proof. I think that there's some damage control. If we're producers, if we're writers and we're in a room right now, they know that the audience is not 100% on board with Maggie right now. I mean, that's the reality. So they've got to find a way to really sell it to us and make us feel good about it. Gouche in the house, super chatting. Thanks so much, man. Appreciate that. Appreciate you being here. So let me bring out my Negan playbook. It worked for me when we were talking about what the audience needs to accept that. So I would say right now, our audience is probably 60-40. 60% are okay with Maggie coming back. About 40% either says no or has slight reservation. Would you guys agree? Just, we know who's on our group. We know who watches. So if you're a writer, you got the 60%. Now you got to find something that works for that 40%. So what's going to make that 40% really get on board? So let me get a few ideas from the audience. And I think it's going to be more than one. I've got 2 or 3 things that I think would make for an epic Maggie reintroduction. Jim09 says, obviously, info on Rick. Ben Stevenson, what if they brought her back as kinda a villain? Okay, well, do you guys think there will be a Dante? Let me ask a follow-up. Will there be a Dante Maggie hookup on The Walking Dead? We got a brief introduction to Dante, episode number 1. A lot of people are saying no. A lot of people, Dante's awkward. Well, Dante was weird in the comic as well, was he not? I mean, we're getting a little bit ahead. So we've gotten one brief introduction. So hardcore comic fans, chime in. Tyler says my money's on Sadiq. No, I'm not comparing him to Glenn. Dante was a doctor in the comics, and after years, Dante and Maggie had a thing after Glenn. So, I mean, they brought in Dante. Why not? There's no rule book that said, I mean, if there wasn't at least the idea to get us talking about it, what's the point of introducing Dante at all? Other than it's going to happen, or we're going to compare it to the comic. Thanks so much, Jessica. We love you too. Appreciate you being here. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that anything is set in stone. What I'm saying is that there's the possibility. And I'll dig in, I'll research it a little bit more just to see what the pretense of their relationship was. But it was there. Okay, so we've got Maggie could have intel on Rick. We've got the future relationship as per the comics is laid out if they decide to go that direction. So there's number 2. But there's something else big that could happen much the same way that the Negan transition happened. What I tend to find, especially with The Walking Dead, is when we experience loss, we tend to be more forgiving toward other characters. So, the loss of Michonne or the exit of Michonne makes it easier to accept Maggie. A loss of Ezekiel or another very popular character makes it easy for us to say, okay, fine, she left, but dang it, I don't want those whispers to win. I would rather have Maggie. We all did that with Negan. We're still doing it with Negan. Many people that said they would never, ever, ever support Negan now support Negan because of the whispers. And the darker the whispers get, the easier it is to like Negan because Judith likes him and because he's going to help people. Easy. Maggie is not hated to the level that Negan is, so it's much, much easier to bring her back, but a little extra boost would not hurt the story. And would not hurt. You know, I've said multiple times, if she comes in guns a-blazing and she's not that corny, evil Maggie that they made her out to be, you know, at the very end, you know what I'm talking about. Jesus, what you did saving those people, that was right. What Rick did, that was wrong. that whole speech and then Daryl coming around the corner out of the dark like, yeah, I don't care if he is sorry. I'm going to kill some bitch. I mean, that 30 seconds of Walking Dead could just never have happened. Never. I want to erase it from my memory because Maggie was the only one dark. Daryl that was, you know what I'm going to say? It was bad. It was bad. They should have never even been there. We're going to bide our time. Yeah. I'd almost forgotten about it, and then I just reminded myself about it. But certainly that, and then, the hanging of Gregory. I mean, I didn't have a problem hanging Gregory. Just been nice if she'd have asked a few people or just ran it by. I mean, you certainly saw that there was no council in Hilltop. It was Maggie's way. And she had so much, she was protected that group so much, and she had so much authority for her to just leave that to Tara. Necessity. Yeah, Daryl, I don't disagree that that Gregory had it coming. It's just the way that Michonne and Rick reacted to it is kind of the way I watched it. Like, I had to choose between the way Rick would have handled it and the way Maggie handled it. And I wasn't upset she hung Gregory. I was more upset that she just left Rick out of the equation. Hey, Rick, I'm going to hang this dude. Nope, I don't agree with it. Well, sorry. I have the rules here, and that's the way it's going to go down. At least a little bit of diplomacy. I mean, Gregory could have been, they could have hung him for many other things. Yeah, no issue with him dying. Just the issue with kind of me sort of seeing it through Rick's eyes, I guess. Heart of Nixie, you bring up a good point. Maggie was becoming the governor. Ben Stevens says Rick would have bitten his throat out when he was attacked. That's true. So Heart of Nixie, that's probably not a bad point to bring up. Maggie can use her exit as she didn't like what she was becoming. So I think to use our code word for tonight, tonight's code word is depth. So yeah, I mean, I think that could add some depth to the story is that, when you're a leader, sometimes you just can't handle it anymore. You think you're going to make bad decisions, so she had to get out. So I think that's four valid points of how Maggie could return and satisfy the characters on the show and the audience. If they check each one of those boxes, I said it's probably 60-40. I'm slightly in the 40, but I'm more toward the middle. Like, I'm not a huge fan of Maggie. In fact, I've never been a huge fan of Maggie. Not to say I dislike her. There's just a whole lot of characters that I'm very neutral on. And Maggie's one of those characters that I was always pretty neutral on. But I'm an easy sell. And all you have to do is just 1, 2, 3, 4 things. As long as it moves the story along, I'm good with it. That's kind of where I'm at with Maggie, and I have a lot of confidence that they will. Rolex in the house. You guys missed it. We have a brand new villain. Go back and watch last week. Well, is he a villain? But we introduced a brand new character, possibly on the fence, called the Timekeeper, patterned after our own David H. Timex. Freestyle Friday tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Get ready to have a good time. We got heroes, we got villains, and we also got a little bit of both. So tell you guys what's going to go on tomorrow. Friday is always our Freestyle Friday. We will start with the Walking Dead topic. During the week, when we do a lot more streams, which we will, we give away Kills coins. You can use your Kills coins for random topics. I'm going to post a Patreon topic tomorrow, give away a few there as well. And we've been rolling in our Play Dead Live real-time role-playing game scenarios. Tomorrow night, got something a little different, and we're going to call it Trail and Error. So let that sink in. Think about that tonight. Trail and Error. So got some real neat things, some good scenario interaction, and we're going to add something a little bit different that we haven't done up to this point. Actually, we might add 2 different things. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. So, hey, everybody. Season 10, Walking Dead, episode number 2, bold predictions. I want to appreciate each and every one of you for being here tonight. Yeah, exactly. Something to think about. I'm not saying any more. I gave you guys the name. Not giving any more clues for Play Dead Live. If you want to get involved, be here tomorrow night. Freestyle Friday. It's casual. We hang out. We will talk a little bit about Walking Dead, but we'll talk about a whole lot of other stuff. And then at some point, we'll just jump into the gameplay. I don't know. It could be 15 minutes in, 30 minutes in. It could be an hour in. You just got to be here. Set your calendars. Make Friday night Freestyle Friday. Have a good time with us. We got another super chat in here. We got Tyler Bradley. Great impressions. It was a cop-out storyline. Anyway, if Maggie is a villain, I'm Peter Pan. Yeah. I don't think there's any way they could possibly, if they want to bring her back to the audience, it's kind of like Negan. They can't make Negan a full-scale villain ever again. They can certainly have him straddle the middle ground and leave us a little bit unsure. But if he goes dark again, he's off the show. I don't think the audience, as hard as it was for them to forgive him for Glenn, they'll never accept another double cross. And Maggie's a little different story. She hasn't really crossed anybody, but the exit did leave a bad taste in some people's mouth. So Rolex says Freestyle Friday is the best. Get in here. And I'm asking you guys one more time. If you guys had a good time tonight, do me a favor. Hit that like button. We're going to wind this thing down. I want to give a special shout out to the Patreon Army. If you guys know, we got several patrons. We added a brand new tier. Play Dead Live sponsorship. So if you guys check out the Patreon site, we've got several people that are doing some good things for our overall gameplay. It's developing really, really fast. So thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. The channel members, we got about 20 6-month channel members. It's going to be updated very soon, I promise. But if you guys want to see who's been here for a long time, take your mouse and scroll over. You can see like Julia Muse right there. That little purple 999 shows 6 months. You see Gucci Goucher, 5 months. So getting ready to turn the corner 6 months. But we've got a whole lot of people that are turning the corner. We got a few people that are already going to be in Play Dead Live, and we got a few more people that we're going to add to it. But just whether you're in the initial group, you can still watch, play, and as I said, we might add some additional people as gameplay gets underway. So let me give another special shout out to the moderators, Emmy, Steph, Tommy, Kells, also to the super chatters. Ton of super chats going on tonight, and hang out with us tomorrow night. One last thing, everybody. The super fans of the month are Emmy, Steph, Tommy, and Kells. What better way to have October than to recognize our moderators as the super fans? I'll see everybody here 8 o'clock tomorrow night. Don't watch the premiere at 9 o'clock. Hang out with us till about 10. And then once our stream is over, go over and watch the show early, and then we'll talk about it on Saturday morning. Have a good night, everybody. Thanks for everything you do. Peace.